What is happening, YouTube? Um, it was just a regular Wednesday morning. Well, I wouldn't say morning. I believe it's more like around 10 a.m. ish or something like that. Well, Pacific time. There was a huge mega trade. Damien Lillard got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe the Bucks sent a I believe like a first round pick and then um two like a pick swap or something like that, two other pick swaps, so like technically three first round picks. And the Portland Trailblazers also got back Jrue Holiday, and then they managed to get DeAndre Ayton. So, and then the Suns, they got Nurkic, and they got Keon Johnson, and they got let's see, Nasir Little. So I'm gonna break it down for each of the teams, and I'll just give my personal opinions. And with further ado, let's get it. So the obviously the elephant in the room, the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is definitely a great trade for them because while I'm not the type of guy who likes to give up like the long term future and all that, and the first round picks and all that. Um, it's this is kind of like a tricky scenario because the Bucks, they needed offense, and last year, most of the part, their defense is good. It's just sometimes, like a lot of times, their offense just not clicking. They just couldn't really hit shots like um a lot of times. The only person who was like a good scorer at the time was Chris Middleton. Other than that, um, no one else could have really scored a ball other than Giannis. And then acquiring Damian Lillard definitely helps them a lot. It gives like a perfect, like a dynamic duo. And the Bucks do still get a lot of defense. Um, they just traded some of the their like one of their best defenders, Jrue Holiday, but they still got Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. So this could easily set the Bucks in position to win the championship. Like could be this year, or like multiple years left because Giannis, he is a franchise player and he's not like aging. So um, this trade definitely works out for the Milwaukee Bucks, but it is a gamble to give up like obviously draft picks like really like super far in the future, but the Bucks like really like needed to do it, so I guess it worked out for them. Um, but now the Portland Trailblazers, they definitely get the draft picks in return. Um, they got Jrue Holiday. Um, they also got DeAndre Ayton, which I think was a pretty good move. DeAndre Ayton, he just needed like a fresh start to like rejuvenate his career with like a lower spotlight in a rebuilding team. The Phoenix Suns, it was just I don't know, like he had a really bad down year, and then the expectation for Ayton, it's pretty high, and he's supposed to perform well, and he just didn't do good whatsoever in the playoffs. So I think in a team like Portland, it's definitely a good fresh start, and they traded Nurkic, which in my opinion is a big upgrade. They also did, however, traded Keon Johnson and Nasir Little, and you know to get a guy like DeAndre Ayton, it's actually like not too much of a harm because Ayton is also pretty young, so they just traded their young assets for another young asset that is like that just needs a fresh start. And obviously there is a great chance that Jrue Holiday could just simply just get flipped somewhere else because I don't see this man staying a Portland Trailblazer because they already got Scoot Henderson, and a lot of teams are pursuing him. Even the Clippers are like mixed up in the trade rumors, and I'll get into that later. Now let's get to the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns, they're getting roasted left and right by people on social media, and this could easily be a bad trade, or this can actually somewhat be decent for the Suns because the two guys that are like the huge X factors for the Suns would be Keon Johnson and who else? Nazir Little. They are still pretty young. I believe they're like 23 years old, 23. And then I think Keon Johnson, I believe, I want to say like he's um, 21, 22, I believe. So they definitely have a lot of time. They could be a potentially solid player. You never know. You never know. But you know, going to Ayton to Nurkic alone, obviously that's a downgrade. I guess with a guy like Nurkic, he's more consistent in terms of getting rebounds and doing big man stuff. But defensive wise, he would definitely get cooked. And the Phoenix Suns, for now, like if Vogel doesn't like try to develop Keon and Nazir Little, the Suns are definitely fried. And if Keon Johnson and Nazir Little becomes like a huge bust for the Phoenix Suns, then the Suns are definitely easily the biggest losers of the trade. I'm not gonna count that out yet because there's still plenty of time. But overall, it was a good thing for Dame. Dame got like a nice fresh start, and um, the Bucks, they got their firepower. They got the firepower they needed, and him and Giannis would pretty much fit really well. Um, and then the Bucks, I meant the Blazers, they got what they needed, and the Suns, they're kind of playing with fire, honestly. Um, we'll see what happens though. But since Jrue Holiday, obviously, he's not going to stay with the Portland Trail Blazers. Definitely a decent amount of teams, like a decent amount of contenders. They're looking into trying to acquire Jrue Holiday. Other than the Clippers, I believe, I want to say, let's see, I think or the Celtics and then the 76ers got mixed into the reports. And it's interesting to see where he would go. The Clippers acquiring Jrue Holiday, um, it would be interesting because, just a while back ago, um, the Clippers, they were mixing the James Harden report. And, like, so basically, of course, like adding a star would definitely help. But the interesting part with the Clippers is the Clippers do have a lot of guards already. Kawhi and Paul George, obviously, they're like one of the wings. You already got Russell Westbrook. You already got Terrence Mann. You got Bones Highland. Um, yeah, you got a decent amount of guards. You got Norman Powell. So that's like a boatload of guards. Um, and then Harden, he was linked, with the rumors and all that. And then how fans felt. They're pretty split. One side really wanted him. One side was like a harsh no to getting James Harden. But now there's a new option, and now like more options for fans to that pretty much would speculate And Jrue Holiday to the Clippers, man, that'd be interesting because that could definitely upgrade the Clippers defense a lot. And I'm gonna try to think how the rotations would be. So Russell Westbrook, um, Jrue Holiday as a shooting guard, Paul George as small forward, um, Kawhi Leonard at power forward, and then Zubac at center. Then the bench would be um, Bones Highland, and then Terrence Mann. Um, and then personally, I would like to see Brandon Boston Jr. And then the power forward could be um, Kenyon Martin Jr. And then or um, who else? Maybe Kobe Brown if he somehow managed to not get traded. And then you also got um, Mason Plumlee, or it could be Diabate. Personally, I would like to see Diabate. Um, and my personal opinion of Jrue Holiday, trying to like rumors of him going to the Clippers. Um, it's kind of like how I feel about James Harden. Um, I would welcome it, but obviously, if we don't acquire like either of the guys in a trade, um, it won't be at the end of the world in my opinion. Because personally, I think even the Clippers roster right now is good enough to win it all, but it's up to the head coach to execute the decisions. And you already know how I pretty much feel about that. But I guess obviously if you acquire either James Harden or Jrue Holiday, of course that would definitely be a lot easier to to pretty much just win and not really uh, mess up, because it's kind of like hard to mess it up. And I guess like assuming that the trade value of Jrue Holiday and James Harden is the same, um, value. I guess Jrue Holiday would be kind of like the safer bet, because Jrue Holiday, you're guaranteed to get pretty good defense out of him. And then the Clippers defense would just be top notch. While James Harden, you're guaranteed to get really good offense out of him. And then, but there'll be times when Harden gets cold, and when he's off, he would be more on the liability side. But of course, he could do other stuff. While Jrue, you're getting more consistency, but you're getting less firepower. But you don't really truly need the firepower of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Um, but there are many options, like how the Clippers could kind of take advantage of this. So obviously, one option is obviously go for Jrue Holiday, which, like I said, I'm more of a neutral factor. Um, because I'm not too crazed, because like I said, Clippers got a lot of guards, and in my opinion, I still believe maybe shedding some of the guards, to clear up minutes for younger guys to play minutes, and then while getting draft capital in return, I would prefer the Clippers to head for that route. But like I said, if we wind up getting one of the stars, as long as we don't give up anything too much in the long term, um, I won't be too mad about that. But so that's option one. Option two, um, the Clippers could try to do a 3-team trade, um, and then James Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers. So it could be Jrue Holiday to the Sixers, and then the Sixers will send James Harden to the Clippers. And then Norman Powell, he gets sent to one of the two teams, and then the Sixers kind of do something to kind of help the Clippers out and send something to the Portland Trailblazers, and that could be possibly a win-win trade. And then of course Marcus Morris gets sent to probably Portland because he's rebuilding, and then maybe like I said, Sixers could send something extra. So that could be option two. Like, instead of just may going straight for Jrue Holiday, may just do like a little 3-team trade. And who knows? Um, this could definitely cost the Clippers like less because, all the teams are pretty much getting like what they want because in my opinion, Jrue Holiday with the 76ers is definitely like a great fit as well because in a way, I guess you could maybe even go as far to say it could potentially be an upgrade because the Sixers defense gets like way better and all the offense that Harden be taking, it could like go to Tyrese Maxey and Tyrese Maxey gets more of the shots. And then of course the Clippers get their guy in James Harden. So like maybe the Sixers would be inclined to sending the Portland Trail Blazers more. Like instead of just Clippers sending all their guys to Portland, maybe the Sixers and the Clippers they kind of balance it out. So let's just say, um, you know, um, the Clippers just send one first round pick that is like semi protected, like maybe a top 8 protected pick, and then I guess the Sixers maybe send like some second round picks, I guess, to kind of aid it out, and then Marcus Morris obviously goes to the Portland Trail Blazers, and then and I guess Norman Powell goes to the Philadelphia 76ers, and then which that's why the Sixers would send like some of the picks. So you never know. So maybe like the Clippers like could potentially like give up a lot less, and then the Clippers still get their guy. Like like maybe just instead of maybe like potentially having to ship 2 first round picks or send an unprotected pick, maybe the Clippers could just potentially get like just send out like a semi like heavily protected pick like a top 8 or a top 10, and then like I said, Clippers could get their guy. So that is like just personally option 2. Um, option 3, and this is like a really wild one, so do not take this too seriously, but this could be like ultimate chess move. Um, One thing I kind of noticed about the Portland Trail Blazers, their general manager is a little bit inconsistent because sometimes they might send some of their like ship like players for like assets that are like that are like a lot lower than they should get in return. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they are one of the teams who would not ask for as much occasionally. For example, the Norman Powell and Robert Covington trade to the Clippers. All the Clippers had to do is just give up like I believe like just 2 second rounders I believe for Norman Powell who's a walking bucket, and then not only that the Clippers get Robert Covington, which is one of the better power forwards in the league. Clippers, like, on a side note, I'm still very disappointed how Tyler doesn't play him. I don't know why. But anyways, just for like 2 second round picks, and then Eric Bledsoe, which is kind of a bad contract at the time. And then Clippers sent out Keon Johnson, which, a promising young player, but his ceiling like isn't crazy high. His upside's like a good, great like 3-and-D type role player. So the Blazers at times they can be caught lacking at times. I believe like the CJ McCollum trade. I don't even that trade wasn't even like they didn't even get anything too crazy in return. And McCollum was considered to be kind of like an all-star caliber player or something like that. So you never know. So maybe just maybe Clippers just make a trade with Jrue Holiday alone, and then but the Clippers get Jrue Holiday, then maybe just maybe the Clippers find another team, and they find like some type of players that that the Clippers like that either improves the team like right now and it may get more assets, or may like the may like the Clippers buy low on someone, or may take on a player that is like low on stock right now, and then who knows, and the player like in return you know could be a surprise, and then the Clippers get a bunch of draft capital in the future. Like that's again, this is a wild one. Like one perfect example that I'm kind of like playing around with is Clippers acquired Jrue Holiday, and then they find a team like the Brooklyn Nets, and then the Brooklyn Nets, um, we would take on like a Ben Simmons contract. But the thing with the Nets is the Nets have a decent amount of picks as well. They have, and the picks like they got is like the Phoenix Suns picks and the Dallas Mavericks picks. Maybe, just maybe. And again, like I said, disclaimer, don't take this idea like too seriously, because I just kind of like thought about it just for fun basically. And then you send Jrue Holiday to the Nets, the Clippers. They get a power forward in Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, of course, he's nowhere near like good at the moment. And then they get like one of the Phoenix Suns pick, like a 2027 first round pick, which is unprotected. And um and then maybe the Clippers also get a 2029 Phoenix Suns unprotected pick. Or they could choose like either Phoenix Suns or Dallas Mavericks 2029 unprotected pick, because Dallas could also be a bad team within years ahead if Luka decides to leave. And the Phoenix Suns, they could easily be a bad team within 4 to 5 years. So the idea is, Clippers, we take on like a bad contract, but he can still like kind of produce for the team, because Clippers just need a power forward who can play defense. But they get 2 potential like lottery picks for the long term. So that's kind of like a slick idea, like to kind of like get like the ultimate reward. But again, I just thought about it. So like I said, don't take it too seriously. But man, that was a fun idea to actually just like throw out. Like imagine like the best case scenario, Ben Simmons just turned back to his normal form, and then obviously the fit will be really weird, but I mean, anything is better than Marcus Morris, because like at least Ben Simmons can play defense and get rebounds, and then Marcus Morris, he doesn't really do too much, and then Ben Simmons could just play defense, and of course there's always like a big negative, and the big negative is how cap space would be screwed. Like that's our worst case scenario, but the draft picks, the 2027 like Phoenix Suns picks, ooh, like, and imagine if it becomes like a top 5 pick. Ooh, the Clippers like could definitely like be like amazing, like like even after Kawhi and Paul George. So those are just 3 options, like how the Clippers could take advantage of the Jrue Holiday situations. The third idea was just a fun idea. Let me know what you think about that. But also let me know what you think should the Clippers do in this situation. Should the Clippers just straight up go after Jrue Holiday, or should the Clippers maybe do a 3-team trade with James Harden? Or what do you think about the trade in general? Like, what do you think about the Blazers, the Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns? Do you think the Suns got robbed? You think the Bucks are going to the finals? You think they're winning the chip, or you think the Bucks didn't like the Bucks might disappoint. But just let me know what you think down in the comment sections, and thank y'all really much for tuning in. Have a good one. Peace.